Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on a beautiful chart. It's a heaven and earth design and it's called Doorway to the Stars, and it's by Josephine, a very popular designer, and of course it's charted by Michelle Saeta of Heaven and Earth Designs. And here is a picture of the chart itself, which I always print out because I like to keep the details of the chart. And what do we have here? A beautiful scene of planets, and it's just such a beautiful, tranquil picture. It really appealed to me when I saw this one. And I find it strange, this printout now, because there seems to be like a black border here and a black border here, which isn't on the actual chart itself. I didn't fancy the idea of stitching a great big black border top and bottom for no particular reason, but it isn't actually like that on the chart itself. So this is a regular, I believe. This is not the mini. I looked at the mock-ups and I kind of liked this one a bit better, and it really spoke to me. And do I actually need to start a new Heaven and Earth design? Absolutely not. And why am I starting it? I don't know. That seems to be the way it goes with us Flosstubers. So we end up just getting taken on a merry-go-round, and a really long ride through starting charts and trying to get other charts finished whilst we're starting new ones. It just seems a little bit nuts, but hey, it's all fun and games, right? Nothing has to be set in stone. Nothing is perfect. We can just, it is a hobby. Let's just remember that, okay? It's just a hobby, so we can do whatever we like. So yeah, I started this one and I've only got, as you can see, this little corner here. This is what I've done so far, so it hasn't been very long. It's been about a week, just over a week's progress or something. And if you know me as a stitcher, if you have any idea of my stitching quirks and my stitching likes and dislikes, you'll know that I normally go on about how I'm not that keen on doing diagonal lines because my brain kind of works more in a blocks and columns kind of way. And whenever I tried to do a line before, it used to come out terrible, or I'd just end up not enjoying it. So for some reason, I decided I wanted to have another go. Again, I have no idea why. So I decided to have another go with diagonal line, not the diagonal blocks. And I've really enjoyed it this time. In fact, I've converted 2 of my projects into diagonal lines. And I don't know, what can I tell you about, other than the fact that I'm, complete lunatic, is I think personally that the reason I'm really enjoying it this time, and this is very true, is because I have set myself a small rule. And I know that we're not supposed to really have rules, or there are no real rules in terms of cross stitching, but I've given myself a little rule to say that I'm not going to worry about what's on the other side of that line when I'm doing this diagonal. And other than if it's a ninja stitch, if it's like a 1 ninja stitch and I'm already in that color along here, I can catch that stitch on the other side. Maybe not if it's on the 10th stitch of the row, but I'm not going to feel guilty, or I'm not going to be hesitant or be deliberating about whether I should catch a stitch on the other side, because I think that was my main problem. My main problem was that I was all the time feeling like I needed to catch more stitches on the right, which completely, obliterates the whole point of doing a diagonal line. And okay, let me just stop there for a second, because it's okay to go over and do stitches on the other side. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it used to make me anxious, and I used to spend a lot of time thinking, shall I get that stitch? Shall I not do that stitch? Shall I just carry on going down? Oh, here's another stitch. Shall I do that stitch? And it used to drive my brain mad trying to figure out whether I should, feather basically, or catch stitches on the other side. And since I said, no, I'm not going to bother doing that, I'm just going to carry on down, I was going much faster, snaking all the way down, not worrying about the other side, unless it's like that one stitch that's on the very edge. That would make no sense to just not do it. So that's the way I went. And since I did that, I made a peace with it, and I seem to enjoy it a lot more. So I kind of found my in-depth mojo in diagonal line stitching, if that makes any sense. I just make that up. So yeah, so that is how I managed to, and I didn't force myself to enjoy it. I said to myself, if I don't enjoy it again, I will go back to doing the blocks. But when I set that little agreement with myself, probably better to say agreement than rule, I was much less stressed about just having a line, and I was able to do the line quite easily. And I like the line because for me it's neat and I like neatness. I know you might think that my park threads are a nightmare, but I actually keep them quite neat, and I tend to pull them to one side. And if I work with one over here, I finished with that one, for instance, I don't need it till my next diagonal, I pull it behind here, behind my needle minder, and I continue to do that until I get to the very bottom. Then I will bring out the top ones that are up here, and maybe I will push these all to one side, and I will bring my needle minder over and catch them there. And these ones I will continue to work with down this diagonal. And I found that really works for me. The other thing I'm doing is I'm working with full crosses as opposed to tent. I normally do tent, but now I'm doing full crosses. Um, And I can't tell you for which one's better, because it wouldn't be right for me to say this one's better or that one's not better. But I'm enjoying the full crosses here, and it's less bulky. Now, I have recorded this video already in 2 parts. Unfortunately, the first part did not record correctly, but it did record the second part. So now I've had to come back again and re-record this first part, and then I will, join it to the second part where I'm already stitching and talking. So if I repeat myself in any way, I apologize for that in advance, because it's been a complete mess up today with the recording. I don't know what's happened. Maybe because it's coming up towards the weekend and I'm getting excited for the weekend and pressing the wrong buttons. I do not know. So here I've got my lovely hot mug of tea, and I just need to chill. And I'll worry about it, because I know you understand. If you do any kind of recording, you know what what a pain it can be at times. So yeah, if I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but I can't remember everything I said in the first part of the recording, but I think I did go into mentioning about the diagonal and the reason why I had decided to do a diagonal as opposed to going to do my normal blocks. Because sometimes you want to swap things around a bit and you don't want to be doing the same thing every time. And a lot of my projects are doing tent stitch, and I feel like I want to do, something different, like the crosses. And I don't know, I think I'm probably rambling on about this as well, a bit later on perhaps. So this is me introducing my diagonal on this one. I'm really enjoying this. I've added this to my whip go board because I like working on it, and I want to get some more progress done. So this is going to be one that I'm going to be working on for the rest of this month at least. And even if I do just something like 50 or 100 stitches a day, that is enough for me. I mean, I'm not going to... I realize that there's a lot of black up here, and someone did say to me, you might get bored of stitching this black, but I don't know. Right, because stitching is stitching. Whatever you're stitching, you've got to do. I'm really excited to get down to this bit here now, but if I'm doing diagonal, it's going to cut in half like that. But it doesn't matter. Whichever way you stitch it, it's all going to get done eventually, right? So I'm just going to go with the flow and keep going. And I'm not going to stress about how many stitches I've done or haven't done or should do or haven't done. I just want to take it nice and calm and relaxed. I don't want to be like putting any pressures on myself with regards to how many I need to get done. In fact, my whole whip go board, I have eradicated how many stitches I need to do of anything, because I really want to get it simplified, especially now that I'm going house hunting and I'm going to start looking at actually start looking at properties and putting in bids. And that's going to be a real stress. And the last thing I want to do is come home and get on my calculator and start adding up stitches. I don't want to do that, especially if I'm tired. I want to sit down and relax and do stitching and not be counting any more than I have to. So I've decided that I've taken off all the stitch counts, and I've just got on my whip go board now, whip go board. I have written down the names of the projects, and I have left out all the you have to do this and you have to do that stitches, because like I said, I just want to simplify my life a bit more. As much stress I can take away as possible would be the main thing. So now it just says the name of the projects, and I can do whatever I want. If I want to do 10 stitches or if I want to do 5,000 stitches, it is going to be up to me. But at least all I've got there then is a guide on which one I'm working on, which is helpful. It stops me flapping around trying to make decisions about which one to work on. So I can work on 2 each month, and I can just, if I want to work on one a bit more than the other, that's okay as well. I think that's really simplifying it for me. And I did say at the beginning when I started the whip that I was going to tweak it to suit me, because we all don't know at the very beginning whether something's going to suit us or not. So that is that. So Doorway to the Stars. And you're probably wondering what happened to my Josephine wall dress of daydreams. Basically, I got into a real funk with that chart. I haven't completely killed it off. It's not an RIP project. It's still a WIP, but it's not going to be in progress at the moment because I started it in the middle and I got into a mess with my direction, and then I realized I didn't like the fabric any longer. It was really scratchy, and then I learned that my fabric was scratchy for a reason, which I explained in another video, because it wasn't the manufacturer that I was used to. So I ordered more fabric, and when I ordered more fabric, I decided I didn't want to restart it. I wanted to restart this one. But okay, my saving grace is that it's by the same designer, so maybe I can get away with that. I'd only done, I think, about 3,000, less than 5% of the other one, so I didn't feel too bad. If I had gone on and done something like 60%, I would have definitely not stopped, because I mean, it would be a real shame if you like nearly halfway through or something and then you just abandon it. But I totally agree with people that say if you're not feeling something, then don't do it, and it might come to you later. In fact, some people have picked up whips after 3 or 4 years and decided to continue them. So I'm not going to throw anything away. I always keep it aside, just in case I get the buzz to do it again at a later date. And so that's it. That's what happened with Dress of Daydream. So I'm now still doing a Josephine wall, but I'm doing this one. So it's slipped into my whip go quite nicely, kind of just been replaced by the other one at the moment. And this is where I'm going with this particular chart. Oh, we've had some glorious sunshine out there today, but now it seems to be, it doesn't really know what it wants to do. It's kind of cloudy, and then the sun's coming back, and then cloudy again, like it's really dying to be spring, but it doesn't quite know how to get there. But never mind. So yeah, so this is my re-recording of part 1 of this video. I think I more or less covered the introduction that I lost earlier because my camera just decided to mess around, and this is going to happen every so often, right? Occupational hazard. It's just going to happen. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to be actually stitching and still talking about stitching and other stuff. So please stay with me for part 2. You don't have to go anywhere. Just get yourself a hot drink and stick around, and we'll carry on chatting. Okay, that's there. Okay, I need to get a new colour just for that stitch there. And I've got everything in envelopes at the moment because I already had a lot of flosses in envelopes. Instead of taking them out and putting them onto skeins, onto bobbins, I just simply said, well, you know what? Oh, don't tell me that I don't have this colour. 550. Oh, yes, I do. Instead of putting them all onto bobbins, I just thought, well, I'll just use what's in these envelopes, the right colours that I need, and I'll just add more envelopes with more colours in. It's actually easier than winding things around bobbins, and that's the way I'm preferring to do it at the moment, because I have it all in a box and it's really quick just to open an envelope and take out a strand. I find it super quick actually. Now I seem to be having a little bit of a problem with my camera today, so I'm hoping this is actually recording, because I really want to redo this video again. Said no floss tuber ever, right? Okay, that's a real purple colour going in there, which is the first non-bluish black colour that I've used in this chart. So when people say to me, should I do a cross or should I do tent on 25 count? My answer will always be check it out first, give it a go, both of them on a sample piece of fabric, and see what you like best, because it is very difficult for me to tell people what to do. And I think in many cases the answer is always going to be you have to try some things yourself and see what you prefer, because everybody's got different likes. I mean, I can say to you that I prefer full crosses, but maybe you don't. Maybe you actually prefer tent stitch. There is, I mean, if you go and look at the Facebook groups and type in tent versus full cross or something like that, you'll get a lot of people who are on both sides of the fence. I mean, you won't get everybody saying crosses are best or tent is best. You're going to get opinions all over, from different people. Some are going to love one, some are going to love the other. And that is because we are all unique and we all like different things. And thank God for that, otherwise we'd be really boring. So no, I can't say, I cannot say to you, this is better or that is better, because nothing is actually better. It's more, what is it that you enjoy, or what are you enjoying? And, sometimes there are cases where you think, I really like this, but then you go and try the other one, you like it even more. So I do like tent, but when I'm using tent, when I'm doing tent on 2 strands on a very small count, yes, I find it bulky. Yes, I find it unmanageable after a while. Although I've kind of got used to it now, because I started, all my projects that I started with 2-strand tent. And I'm not going to switch in the middle of them, because I'm already like near to 50% on some of those charts. So I'm not going to change my method. I'm going to, see it through to the end. And I've got better at managing the strands as I go along. But anything that I'd started after my initial charts, anything new that I'd started, I decided to do a full cross and 1 strand, because I don't know, I just got tired of the bulk at the back and trying to get my needle through. So yeah, it's all down to preference at the end of the day. And there is no right way and wrong way. And no one has ever said to me, and I'm glad that no one said it, because it's kind of like bullying, really. If someone says to you, I don't know why you're doing that, it's a really bad way to do it, because there is no bad way. There's only the way you prefer to do things. And, if somebody says to me, oh, it's really slow to do the snaking method like this, and I'll say, well, fine, because I'm not in a hurry. So why does it matter to me? As long as I'm enjoying it. If I'm doing something that takes me twice as long, but I'm enjoying it, I'd rather do that than do something quickly and not be enjoying it, if that makes sense. Gosh, there's a very funny sound right behind my chair there. I was thinking it might be a mouse. That's just the thing I don't need right now. It's a little mouse creeping up behind my chair. So I have had some issues with sciatica, and I know some of you had been asking me how I'd gotten on with that and if I was still having problems. Actually, I'm a lot better. Whatever flare-up I had has gone, and it usually does go. And I got this lovely swivel chair, which I purchased because I was stealing my husband's chair. And of course he's got an office room here in our place, and I stole it out of his office. And I always laugh when I say that, I don't know why, but I only borrowed it for 1 day, to be fair. And then the next day I ordered my own swivel chair with a nice long back, put a nice cushion on it, and I feel like a new person, because I was getting very slouchy on our sofa and it wasn't doing my back any good. So I am now positioned in a nice upright kind of way, but in a comfortable upright way. I can always also lean back, because it's one of those lovely chairs that you can slide back in. And since then I haven't had another flare up or a continuation of my flare up. So yeah, big sigh of relief, because honestly, there is nothing worse than being in pain all the time. It stops you from wanting to do things that you want to do. It stops you from being in a good mood. It takes the joy from people around you that have to listen to you complaining all the time. So yeah, I feel much better. And also doing exercises and stuff to help makes a difference. But hey, you know, we've all got our crosses to bear, and I just, you know, take each day as it comes. Like, I used to worry all the time about what's happening tomorrow and next year and the year after and 10 years. I used to worry all the time. And I've taught myself that worry is just a complete waste of time. And I don't do that any longer. I actually stop myself from doing it. I'm very aware when I am doing it. And I kind of stop myself and say, hey, you know, you've got to think about today and think about what you're doing now and what's the best you can do now to cope, and make your decisions for today. And, you know, just let the future take care of itself. And that for me has taken away a lot of stress. But it does take a while to train yourself to change habits and thoughts, because they become pretty much ingrained into part of your psyche, your personality. The way you think is like, can be just a habit that you've adopted, and it's hard to change things, but it is possible. Now, what have I got? A strand in there. Okay, I'm going to park this one on the outside, I think. Maybe down here. I don't always park, but I think rather than cut the thread, if I can park, I will. I like parking. Parking is me. I'm going to get a badge saying parking is me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because instead of trying not to park, I tend to try to park. If that makes any sense. Now, which direction am I going? Left to right. So as you can see, I'm quite happily snaking down here. Not a bother, not too much counting. It's nice and relaxing. That is my preferred way to go. I know other people, they get fully absorbed with counting and planning a route and a direction, or just going in any direction they plan. I prefer this to be a relaxing thing where I can just do my little row down and not have to think too hard about where I'm going next, what I have to do next. I mean, there's too much of that already in life, of what do I have to do next? Where do I go? What bills do I have to pay? You know, what do I need to do in housework? Blah, blah, blah. There's too many decisions already. And I want this to be decisionless. I want this to be relaxing. Which is why I kind of simplify it into little columns like this, and I work very methodically. So yeah, a lot of it I think can be down to personal character. Because you see some people stitching and they're kind of rushing around, going all over the page, and maybe that's that's how they have their approach to life. They kind of just like to have the freedom to go in any direction at any point, not feel inhibited. Whereas here you would feel slightly curtailed and disciplined by doing this, but maybe you're the type of person that likes that kind of discipline. So it is really interesting. Now, I also wanted to speak a little bit about my Saturday live, which I've been doing. I think it's for at least a year now. I can't believe I've done that many, actually. I feel like I've only done like 3 or 4 live streams, but I think I've actually done loads. yeah, so my Saturday live, I'm now going to not do on a Saturday because, well, basically because I want to free up my Saturday a bit more for the family. And I work in the mornings, so I find I've only got like 3 hours or so to actually do anything or rest in the afternoon before I have to set up for the live. And now that the better weather is coming in, or it will do shortly, I'm like last Saturday we had a nice day out, and then I was all the time looking at my watch and thinking, oh, I've got to go and do, you know, I've got to go back and I've got to set up and I can't stay out long and I can't do this. And it kind of spoiled the fun a bit. And by the time I got back, I got so tired. I was so tired because we tried to pack everything we could in between the few limited time we had on Saturday. We tried to pack in a lot that I just got completely exhausted. And by the time I got home, and I rushed home, by the time I got here to actually, I just felt like I couldn't go ahead with it because I was so tired that I literally just had to lie down and I couldn't think straight. So it would have been a disaster anyway. I would probably have spent the whole hour just yawning. So I thought to myself, well, you know, what other time would suit better, I think, because at the end of the day, I could ask a million people or whoever's, you know, interested in watching my lives when they're free, and I'm going to get so many different, you know, answers. Oh, I can do Tuesday. Oh, I like to watch on Thursday, or I like to watch. And then we got the time zones, which make a big, you know, that put a big problem with it as well. So then I just thought, well, what time suits me? And then if people can join me, and if you can't, don't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to be thankful that I can do it when I can do it, and people will join me when they can. So I've decided now I'm going to do a live on Sunday. This is in the UK time, so that would be GMT, and I'm going to do a live on Sunday directly before an event that we do weekly on my Discord channel. So every week on my Discord channel on a Sunday at approximately 5 o'clock or 5:30, we go into a room in Discord, and I'll explain this properly because some people have asked me how to get in, where's the link, what do you do? So basically you just go into Discord and you will see a room called audio, and you will actually see the event there, and you just click on join. So there's a button that says join, and you can go in, and webcams are optional. You can either put on your webcam facing your work or facing you, if you know, if you want to do that. And we just chat to each other. So a few of us are regulars now. We go in and we join, we switch on our cam, switch on a mic. Some people don't want the cam, they just talk. Some people just listen. And we have a social get-together stitching session in Discord. And it's very simple. You don't have to do anything, any particular setup. You don't have to do any particular downloads. You just basically follow the link, press join on the event, which you will see. You can even do it on your phone if you want to. So I thought I would do my live prior to the stitching event on a Sunday, which is called Sunday Scratch Your Stitching Itch. That's the official name. And hold on a second, I was just supposed to be getting the colour here. So there's me going off tangent again, chatting. So Sunday Scratch Your Stitching Itch, which my husband likes to call scratch and sniff for some reason, is on Sunday GMT around 5:30. So I'm going to do my live event before that. I'm going to go live on YouTube, and I'm going to do my normal chat and stitch, and whoever can join me would be fabulous. And then from there I'm going to hop straight into the event on Discord, my Discord community, and I'm going to carry on chatting and stitching to the ladies that pop into there. So that, I think, would be easier for me because I'm already set up, I'm already stitching, so I may as well jump from one to the other. And that means that I don't have to set up twice in the week and all the rest of it. So that also means my Saturdays will be a bit more free now, and you know, my family and I can go out and enjoy the good weather, and I don't have to run back home. As much as I've loved my live stitching sessions, and I don't really want to give them up because I enjoy them and I enjoy catching up with many of you, I do have to sometimes rejiggle things a bit. And I have to apologise too if that doesn't suit you and you have been enjoying my lives. I have to say I am really sorry if the new Sunday doesn't suit. However, there isn't much I can do but kind of make it work for me, because if it doesn't work for me, then I'm worried it's not going to happen at all. And I'd rather, you know, that I just tweak things a bit and see how they go. So that is going to be this Sunday. So watch out for my scheduled live at coming up on my channel. It'll be around 4 p.m. or something on Sunday UK time. I know that's going to be much earlier in the US, and I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, that's going to be this Sunday. So I'm going to go and schedule that shortly. And I look forward to chatting and catching up with you again, because I missed the last week. Like I said, I had a horrendous time. I was completely exhausted. And I will get exhausted again, I'm pretty sure, once I go around looking at houses. No, I just need to count this here. 1, 2, 3. Once I go around looking at houses and things, I'm going to be completely shattered. And there may be a time where I say, look, there is no way I can sit and chat. I can sit and sleep, and if you'd like to watch that, but I doubt it. I'd rather be a bit brighter and have my brain working whilst I'm stitching for your viewing pleasure. Like I thoroughly enjoy the social aspect of stitching. Not more than I enjoy stitching, but you know, on a par actually, I quite like the social aspect of stitching, and I know that crafts are such a sociable thing today, much more than they've ever been in the past. Now, see, I have gone a little slower for the purposes of the fact that I have been chatting. Usually I would go a lot quicker, snaking down here. What am I counting this correctly? So that's 1, 2 that I've done. This is 939 that I'm using here, and it's usually 1, 2, 3. There should be a colour in there, and there isn't. Sometimes if you have a parked thread on your pattern keeper, you know where you get that little parked symbol, and then you find that there isn't an actual thread in there, it makes you stop and think, what's going on? Why is there a parked thread on pattern keeper and there's no thread in the actual canvas? It just kind of jolts you a bit and makes you stop and have to count things. This is 939, isn't it? And I have to say, what I'm also enjoying is that the chair that I've purchased is now positioned right in front of the window, and it's great because I can see the gorgeous daylight. It's coming in, it's hitting my canvas a lot better. I'm seeing a lot more, and less need for the daylight lamp further into the building. So that's a plus, that I'm getting more natural daylight. Okay, so I'm going to just finish this stitch and park it, and I think that's me all caught up with you guys. Let me just check I've done this right, because if I leave it wrong I will come back and be lost, and I've got to start with this one. So today I think I'm going to continue with this diagonal, and And I've actually added this to my whip go board, so my whip go board is getting tighter and squeezing in more stuff. It's going to soon look like a whip go explosion. So yeah, that's my stitchy session today, and so I just want to say thank you for joining me and for listening. It's always a pleasure to chat to you, and I really hope I can chat to you this coming Sunday when I set up my live. It'll be wonderful to connect with you again and to see what you're stitching on and what it is, you know, how you feel about your stitching and what sort of things you've got in mind for new starts. Everybody loves new starts. And of course, you're always welcome into my Discord community. And if you're feeling generous, you can always buy me a coffee as well. There's a link in my description, which would be truly appreciated. And I'm going to say au revoir and goodbye, because some guy has just started drilling across the road there, and yeah, it's going to get noisier and noisier, I'm afraid. So I'm going to just end it there and say I will catch up with you all soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous end of week. Bye for now.